afternoon, everyone. My name is Ivan Sims, and I'm the manager of Actions by Design Studios. As you can see in the background here, there's my workbench where we make magic happen with the video content for local businesses. And we do marketing and advertising as well. I just want to go through a format with the introductions. As you can see, I'll introduce Kyle here. See him on the screen. Can you see both of us now, Kyle?
Yes. Thank you, Ivan, for having me on. Look forward to doing these regularly, getting together on these lunch Zooms. It's a great idea when people are busy and can't actually meet in person. It's great to use this technology.
That's talking about being busy, and you're on the road now. You're not even in your office, so
yeah,
you're working from your phone.
Yeah, I had to find a quiet spot. The Zoom app actually works pretty good on this phone. Yeah, I like just testing out this Zoom app and not having to be on a computer. So you can kind of work wherever when you're an entrepreneur, right?
Exactly.
All these tools. Yeah.
So I'm going to switch to sharing my screen here, and I got a little PowerPoint presentation we're going to kind of walk through as an outline. All right, so basically came up with the idea of lunch and learn, only that we're not serving lunch. So it's kind of you have to brown bag it or whatever, and so I had to change the title to lunch or learning at lunchtime. Lance, our other partner, was a little bit, he was asking me last night if I sent him the right link, the one with the filet mignon on the menu. I said, not this week, maybe week 8. So anyway, as you can see, our audience was a Wednesday webinar group and initially my idea was kind of inspired by watching a squirrel gather, this food for the winter, and I don't think these are squirrels, these are more like gophers, but you can see they're a hungry bunch. So this being our first week, it's more of an orientation and introduction to what our plans are, what our vision is for this 8-week series. And we're going out to our Facebook fans and our group members. So I have a couple of groups established that will, depending on who follows through with us here on a weekly basis, they'll have access to those resources. So our objective here is to present topics that are in a nutshell, bite-sized topics that we can present in a 15 to 20 minute format and interview business owners or other people with important topics. And so my motto is, my goal is getting you from, as a business owner, from X, whatever X represents as a variable, whatever your X is where you are now, to Y, where you want to be. So doing that through the social video content marketing aspect. My goal, again, is to be a life-giving, synergistic organization that creates win-win situations for the people I work with. And we'll spend 8 weeks in this arena and with a goal in mind. So we're beginning with our mission is to help each other align with what we do, with what we love, and to overcome the contradictions in the process. So we all know that we have kind of this disconnect or this dissonance in between what we're doing and what we'd really, what our dreams are. And so our goal is just to help each other accomplish our dreams. This first week now is we're going to talk a little bit about the problems that arise that we run into and treat those as opportunities to discover hidden treasures that others overlook and pass over. So benefit to our members, those that join us and join our Facebook members group. We have a private social learning Facebook group that I'm posting each one of these weekly sessions with content that you can download, give you an opportunity to collaborate or just talk with other members about that you might find something that they brought to the table that fits what you need. For instance, here, one of the things that we do, and this is a free offer to any of our members and people that want to take advantage of this free banner ads offer, it's something that I do at Actions by Design in promoting local businesses. So we can put these on social media, we can put them through email, blogs, you name it. They're designed to fit different scenarios. We can even go on some major media sites like the History Channel, ESPN, etc., with these banners. So basically, I create the banners for free. You use them however you want. You you bring me into the picture to help build your campaign. If marketing's not your strong suit, or you don't have time for it. So those are some of the benefits that we're offering to members that join us here each week. Materials available. I've got some links here, and this will all be downloadable once you've entered that Ambassadors Lounge private site. You know, all these links, this will be downloadable as a PDF file stored in there. All these links, we have the Zoom webinar live stream access, so you can access this on our Facebook fan page. You can join our Getting From X to Y Facebook group, which is a closed group. Anybody can see, but only members can participate in. And then you have my email here, isims42@actionsbydesign.marketing, to contact me. We'll have archived recordings of the live webinars found on my Actions by Design YouTube channel. And then again, the 40X Ambassadors Lounge social learning Facebook group for free downloadable content. Now, our format, and this is loosely constructed, but it gives us an outline. So, you know, we give people 10 minutes basically to get online. And so we'll start with introductions and introduce our speakers and our presenters. Then we'll go to opening statements, just kind of tell them what we're going to teach them before we teach them. And then you got the body of the content, the main portion, and then we begin to sum it up with what we taught, what we said we were going to teach, to kind of summarize it and close it up that way. Then we'll have a Q&A session at the end, and so those that are have to get back to work, the last 15 minutes is open for them to go if they need to. So with week one, the topic is the introduction to being a life-giving series, and I titled it Discovering Your Field of Dreams, because the habit that we develop is being proactive. Instead of having a victim mentality, we become proactive. And Kyle, I know, is very proactive, has dreams and visions that he is pursuing. And so as we endeavor to discover what the treasure is in this field of dreams, uncover the hidden treasure, so to speak, because we start out with something, we don't necessarily know what we're going to uncover, what we're going to run into. And so ultimately, inside of each one of us, we were born with a destiny in mind and a purpose in this life. And so discovering those kind of things is what this first habit is all about. So we'll talk about that in later events. I'm just checking my clock here, so we're right on schedule. So with being life-giving, we talk about the problems that we run into. We're all aware of those things that we face. And I came across this came to my email today, 3 and only 3 ways retail businesses can grow. I thought this was kind of fitting for today because we're talking about being proactive, and it means taking responsibility for our direction and not shifting the blame for our problems to the government or other people or whatever we might choose to blame for those things. So being proactive involves looking at the situation and assessing it. And I've learned there's different ways of looking at problems and solving them. And we're all about wanting to solve problems, and the right problems at that, but direction is more important than that. So as long as we recognize the direction we're heading in, and we can recognize the direction that trends are heading in, and we can get in line with that and ride the wave, then we have a greater chance of success than if we have to go against the trends. Trend is your friend until it ends. So when it comes to growing a retail business, and Kyle, this is your bread and butter right here. I don't know if you want to talk about Connect and the new location yet, or if that's still in the, something that you can't reveal.
Yeah, it's still in the works. We're getting close, but we don't have anything to announce yet, but it's really close.
Okay, so we'll just go with that in mind, that you have had a retail location in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's more online now. There's an affiliate program you probably can talk about and want to talk about, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, we do have retail still in other areas outside of Bellingham, but we have a couple of retail stores down in Oak Harbor, and then we're opening we're taking over a couple in Coos Bay and some other places.
Okay, great.
But, yeah, we have done retail off and on in different locations throughout the last 8 or 9 years.
Okay, so in keeping with this slide, before we move on, then Eric Grimstead, I've known him since I was in school back in 2008, 9, 10 at Whatcom, and went to him again 2 years ago in the Small Business Development Center that works out of, it's a nonprofit that works out of the Western Washington University. Mm-hmm. And so this article was in the Bellingham Business Journal this morning. And his 3 ways of growing a retail business include increasing the number of customers you serve, 2, increase the average transaction value, in other words, raising the price, and maybe having multiple transactions to accomplish that. And then the 3rd way would be to increase the frequency of customer visits. So you want them to come back frequently, like, I can't stay away from Dairy Queen.
And hopefully you're spending more when you go there each time by buying additional items.
Yeah, well, I have my favorite, my consistent thing, but the price seems to, I used to be able to, let's say, for instance, when I go to Hagen's to buy groceries, I'd pick up that little green basket and fill it up as much as I could. Used to be I could spend $50 and get out of there. Mm-hmm. Now it's more, this last time I went in, it was $100. So
yeah, the value of the dollar keeps dropping.
Yeah, it does. Let's keep these 3 things in mind, and I'll go on to the next screen then, and we'll talk about how scientists problem solve. This was an inspiration to me. Scientists solve problems by analysis, and I knew that I was an analytical personality. I discovered that years ago, personality type, and I served. I used to work at Georgia Pacific, and I served on the job analysis board for at least 10 years as a chairman. And my duties and responsibilities there were to assess, and whenever somebody wanted a pay raise, I had to analyze their job relative to the other jobs in the mill. So I utilized my analytical capacities in that role. It wasn't always fun because people didn't always get what they wanted, and towards the end the whole system kind of fell apart because different circumstances that on the West Coast, this was a system that was used all up and down the West Coast, and it kind of became antiquated as we renegotiated contracts. But enough said about that. That's how scientists problem solve, and that's what I thought my strength was for many years. However, now with this new business of actions by design, I've just learned this in the last week, that designers problem solve by synthesis. I don't know if everybody knows what synthesis is, but our society, the shifts in our society and in our culture happen through synthesis. And the example I'm going to use is, we have, like, the picture on the left is what they call a plumb bob. So if you're a construction worker and you're a builder, you know that the plumb bob is what you use to make sure that as you build vertically, the walls are straight and not going to cave in. Synthesis is how our government, or let's say the people with an agenda, will cause shifts in our culture and the way that the masses think. And so, for instance, the government will sometimes create a problem and come up with the solution, or at least a pseudo solution to that problem, and then implement that solution to incrementally move our culture in the direction they want us to go. Now, they have a plan for each one of our lives. We may not be comfortable with that plan that they have. We may not like it. And so this is where being proactive comes in. Again, we have to recognize trends, and they might be moving against us, but if we can get in line and ride the wave of those trends, then we can leverage that trend to our advantage. So synthesis, again, is you have a thesis, let's say the Republican agenda. The antithesis to that would be the Democratic agenda or platform. And so you know how they go at loggerheads back and forth, and every 4 years we have an election, a new president's elected, and usually, at least in the last few elections, we've seen it go Republican, Democrat, and then maybe they're in for eight years, 2 terms. But inevitably, there's almost a and I'm not making this about politics. I'm just using it as an example. They go back and forth like the pendulum here, like the plumb bob as a pendulum, and swinging back and forth from one extreme to the other. And as a result, the synthesis of those 2 interactions, opposing views, is usually ends in a compromise of some sort, or nothing gets done at all. And so for us to look at the situation as, Republicans causing the problem or Democrats causing the problem, it's really not the issue. It's just that they have 2 ways of looking at things and representing 2 different aspects of our society. And the result of that is that they both have the same agenda in reality, if we only knew what that was. And so the synthesis moves it closer to that agenda. It's the proverbial boiled frog theory. You can throw a frog in a pot of hot water and he'll jump out. But if you put him in a pot of cold water and turn the temperature up gradually, incrementally, by the time the water hits 212 degrees and starts to boil, it's too late. He knows he's in hot water and he's not getting out of it because he's cooked. Well, that's the way that synthesis works, and I hope that is an eye opener for someone. So, with that being said, let's talk a little bit more about your affiliate program, Kyle, because next week we're going to go into the 4 roles of leadership, and one of those roles is vision. Talk about your vision for the ASG Networks affiliate program.
Yeah, so we obviously in our business we help customers get set up with TV service, internet service, home telephone, and home security and automation services. And we're trying to make it easier for customers instead of having to call into 800 numbers or wait on hold or deal with that. Letting them deal with someone locally and having a direct contact and build a relationship around that. So what we put in place, we have a person at our office that is dedicated to helping people get set up with those services, and they work with various partners that we've set up, either property managers, computer repair stores, real estate agents, any business people that are referring business in. So basically when someone's moving or trying to set up service, or they're getting a new computer or need internet at their home, they can call this direct dedicated referral partner representative, and he'll help that customer get set up with service. And when you refer business into us, we reward you for that referral. So we have an affiliate program or a referral program, we call it. So you're able to earn per unit. So if the customer you refer to us, let's say you're a real estate agent, they buy a new house, they don't know what services are available, they give our in-house person a call. Right now in Bellingham, it's Nick. You give him a call. He finds what services are available at your address. Mainly, we're focusing on Xfinity. That's our flagship product. So he'll look for if there's what speeds of internet are there, if there's home security available, and we'll go through those different options with you as far as promotions and put together a a comprehensive quote that you can look at, and then set up those services and have them ready to install on the day that you sign those papers at the escrow office. So you're not waiting for those services to be installed. That day you move in, our goal is to have those services installed, right when you move in. So you're not waiting for that. So
that's awesome.
And then we're paying for that referral, the real estate, and a lot of times it's just a good service for their clients, an additional added white glove service for those clients, either property management in the rental business or real estate agent. We're actually compensating them for those referrals. So if the customer signs up for 4 products or 3 products, we pay per product. So it's $25 per unit. We call it a unit. So if they set up 4 different services, internet, TV, phone, home security, that would be $100 commission. Once those services install, you pay out those commissions. And you can send us as many, there's no limit. They can send as many as they want per month. We have property managers that have, 30 or 40 people moving in. They have certain months that they have large move-ins around the college or back to school time. And, we'll process, 40, 50 customers in a matter of a few weeks. So that can really add up as far as on the affiliate side and the commission side. It can be a nice way to additional way to monetize your existing business.
Lance Perry's your partner.
Right.
And so he's on here, but I don't see his, looks like he's on.
I wanted to add in there, if for some reason Xfinity is not available, we lead with that, but if that's not available, we work with about 37 providers nationwide. So a lot of people are moving into rural homes, in different places. They don't have necessarily a cable service. So we're able to work with telco services, satellite services, and what we call WISP or point-to-point services as well. We have lots of different options. We're able to do all that heavy lifting for you and figure it out, so you don't have to sit there and go to a bunch of different websites and call a bunch of different numbers to figure out what's available. Especially if you're new to the area, you don't know what service providers are here. So that's something we do as an added benefit, and so you don't have to spend all that time trying to find the best provider. We're gonna do that for you. So
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So as an affiliate, anyone, whether they're a real estate agent or property management, you supply a web page, a splash page, what we call it.
Yeah. So if you decide you want to join, we send you a simple independent contractor agreement. You sign that, and then we basically we onboard you and implement. We get you a branded page, so you can send your clients right to that link, that URL, and it's got your brand on it, and it's a quick, simple form you can fill out on a smartphone, an iPad, or a computer. And once you fill out that form with the customer's details, our guy's gonna be on a headset in the office and contact them as soon as possible, or email them a quote.
It makes it very streamlined as far as the workflow goes. There's really not a whole lot for these affiliates to do other than just refer people.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a simple form, name, address, phone, maybe what they're looking for, and it's a very simple, quick form to fill out when you're sitting down with them, or after you close the real estate deal, or they sign the rental agreement. You can just say, "Oh, if you want your service, we can have our local guy help you get set up with all your services. You're not waiting. I can just put your information in, and they'll give you a call or send you an email right after this." But it's very, very streamlined and very simple. And that's tracked to you, because that page and that URL is tracked to the referral partner. So all those orders that go through, we send you a report at the end of the month, and it shows how many referrals closed that are installed, and then how much you should expect to be either direct deposited or check sent out.
Okay. So how would they get a hold of you to get connected with this program?
The best way is to go to the website. There's more information there. They can fill out the application or the form to get more information. It's asgnetworks.com, Alpha Sierra Golf, asgnetworks.com.
Okay.
There's more information. There's a phone number they can call. There's a form they can fill out to get more information, and they can actually just sign up right on the site as well.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add, or still kind of watching to see if Lance comes on or not? Because he's always got something good to say. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk about the different roles that you guys. You're the chief operating officers, from what I understand. What is Lance? Role?
Lance is he's on the sales side and working with the salespeople, training,
okay.
I'd say he's, he doesn't really have an official title, but he's on the sales side. He's the probably vice president of sales or president of sales. So he works with a lot of our sales part. He also works with a lot of the vendor relations.
We've had a history in the cell phone market as well. Dipped our toes in that market a few years ago, but Lance has an extensive background in that field as well. I think that's kind of where he got started, wasn't it?
Right, with the cell phones.
Yeah, with marketing and sales.
Yeah, he's been involved with the mobile phone industry, cell phone industry for quite a few years. I think well over 10 years, 10 or 15 years. So he's been in that business for a long time. So Verizon Wireless, AT&T, all the major players there.
Okay. So while we're on this, we're kind of prepping for next week here. We're talking about leadership and the 4 roles, and vision is the one. And I know that you have a vision, that you're very interested and have been watching the blockchain for years.
Oh, right.
You don't need to go in all the details about what you're involved in, but you want to talk about the blockchain a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I believe it's the next internet, or the new internet. I think everything's going to be eventually built on that. It's a perfect system. It's trustless. It's a way to confirm things without having to have individuals or people or human involvement. It's a system that basically it requires several different things to happen in order for a contract or a transaction to go through. It requires what we call confirmations. So it requires several different confirmations, and the system is pretty much, I would call it almost a perfect system when it comes to technology, transactions, logistics. It can be used in a multitude of ways.
Security.
It's being used in a multitude of ways. Security, you name it. Not just cryptocurrency or monetary transactions. It can be used in even real estate contracts, legal contracts, medical records, voting, even in some cases.
Okay.
I believe it's going to be. I think Walmart just announced that they're going to be using the blockchain for all of their logistics, for all their shipping, receiving, everything to confirm everything is correct and accurate. There's companies using it like in the food service industry to verify expiration dates and things like that. So it's a lot of companies and artists and people in the music industry are starting to look at it as an opportunity to use it as a reward system as well for their fans, and create their own blockchain and their own cryptocurrency to be able to reward their fans. That's up and coming. I'm involved with a couple of companies that are doing that.
Utilizing gamification.
Yeah, gamification, and then as well as for intellectual property. So it's more difficult to steal creative works like music, art, things like that. So it can be used in a multitude of ways.
It's fair to say that this technology, it's been around for a few years, but it's kind of anybody that's been remembers the internet boom and the .com bust back in the 90s.
Right.
It's fair to say that this is kind of an emerging technology that's an opportunity waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I would almost call it the next internet. I mean, it's as big as the internet itself, I believe. I believe that on the monetary side, I believe that the cryptocurrency and the digital assets will eventually take over the fiat currencies and become the norm.
So the blockchain would be equivalent to the internet, what it was and is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have applications that would utilize the blockchain, just like email was an application for the internet.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Ivan, I have to go on mute real quick, and I have to catch a flight here, so I'm going to put myself on mute. I got to walk outside for a bit,
okay.
But you can keep talking, and I'll chime in if I'm able to.
Okay, so I'll keep you on the screen then, and I'll go on to the next screen, and we'll kind of wrap things up, summarize then.
Perfect. Appreciate
it.
Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you being on there. That was Kyle Weiss. He's on the road, and he's still able to join in as a contributor this week on our maiden voyage of the Learning at Lunchtime webinar series, 8-week series that we're starting this week with an orientation and introduction. And we've got a little bit of homework for those that have followed along and joined us. So I put a list here of different things that we have available. Again, my goal is getting you from your X to your Y. And these are variables, so depending on where you're at and where you'd like to be, we're all about helping you discover the hidden treasure in your field of dreams. And Actions by Design is a social media, social video marketing company that does advertising and video content creation production for businesses, mostly local businesses here in the Bellingham-Whatcom County area, Ferndale, Linden, and farther south into Skagit County. And we appreciate your participation and encourage you to engage with our content bookmark blog site. If you have links to your content that you want to share, you can go to actionsbydesign.blog and post the link. It's simple. You just click on post a link. You put your link in the window that opens up, and then add a little bit of content like a description. It automatically populates based on your link that you put in there. So post it on there, and it's available. It creates backlinks for you and for us, and kind of a win-win. And it's interesting. We're limited to certain categories of topics on there, but if you're into technology, if you're into blockchain, if you're into entrepreneurism, health and wellness, video content production and things like that, that's what my main focus is on. But we talk about, let's say, water machines, for instance, about health and wellness. So different aspects of that. And you can join also the Getting from X to Y Facebook group. It's a closed group, but you can request to join that. It's connected with the Actions by Design fan page. And then we have a closed group. Once you join the Getting from X to Y, there is a private group, what we call the 40X Ambassadors Lounge, and that's available to our inner circle, basically, those that want to be more involved with what we're doing here. And like I said, the benefits include the free banner ads and studio time if that's what you need to create your content. I have a full live streaming studio here. My group members and customers can utilize those type of resources. You also, on these Facebook groups, the Ambassadors Lounge is where I'm posting PDF files for download. Let's say an outline of, if you want the notes from each week's webinar, you can download those at the Ambassadors Lounge fan group or Facebook group, where you can review the lesson outline and download available free resources that we put in there. So if you'd like to be a guest speaker one of these weeks coming up, like I said, next week we're talking about the 4 roles of leadership, and vision being one of those. So if you have an interesting topic that you'd like to share with our community, we're inviting you to contact me. Again, here's my email address at isims42@actionsbydesign.marketing. And you can, give me a little bit of a background in what you're promoting, what you want to bring to the table. So we're all about promoting local business here in Bellingham-Whatcom County area. Now, I have been recording this, and hopefully it is recorded on the Actions by Design fan page. We'll actually take the recording from this webinar and post it on my Actions by Design channel on YouTube as well. So we'll archive the content that way, so it's available to those that missed our episode today. And don't forget, this is just a reminder to like us on Facebook at actionsbydesign.net. That'll take you directly to our fan page, and where you'll find content. You'll be able to interact with other followers. And you can also inbox me there on Messenger. We've got some new technology that I'm trying out there that we'll talk more about at a later date. So I think that about wraps it up. And I see Kyle's face again here. He's still on mute, but I'd just like to thank him again for coming on and being a co-host here, co-pilot for
Thank
this.
you, Ivan. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And Lance, if you're out there within the sound of my voice, sorry we didn't get your input here, but if you feel comfortable so led, we'll get you on here at another date. So maybe we'll talk about water machines or something. So anyway, with that, we are at 12:45, 45 minutes into this, and since we don't really have any questions to answer this time, I'll say so long for this week and look forward to talking with you again next week. Stop.